Good evening, everybody. I've just been called to Mr. Ted E. Bear here, who has a severe hemorrhage in his right arm. Mr. Teddy Bear's had a bit to drink tonight and got into an argument with someone and punched a plate glass window, and he's lacerated his right inner elbow. So I'm a rapid responder working by myself, so unfortunately I don't have any help at this stage. So but it'd be much handier to do this if I had a partner. So basically the first thing I'm going to do, I'm coming in to do my rapid trauma survey for Mr. Teddy Bear. I've done a scene assessment. I've also wearing my PPE, my goggles, mask, and any other appropriate PPE that I need. I've come in to do my rapid trauma assessment. Like I said, I've made sure the scene's safe, and I've come in, I've noticed that there is a significant hemorrhage from his right elbow, inner elbow, and it is a life-threatening hemorrhage. So that's my first priority, is to arrest that life-threatening hemorrhage, or potential life-threatening hemorrhage. So first thing I'm going to do, excuse me Mr. Bear, you've got a really bad cut on your right arm there. I'm just going to fix that up for you. Is that okay? Yes, that's fine. Okay, Mr. Bear. Okay, so first thing I'll do is lift his arm, apply a pad to the arm, elevate it above elevate the arm, preferably above the level of the heart, but wherever, and just put direct pressure on it and apply a bandage. Again, this would be much easier if I had assistance from an offsider, but it's not going to happen today. So I'm going to apply this nice and tight, and keep it elevated, direct pressure, elevation and bandage. And once that bandage is on, which it is now, I would secure the bandage with some tape. That'll do for the time being. I'd secure that bandage with some tape. I'll then check for distal perfusion and neuromuscular sensation distal to the wound. I'm also reassessing the wound to make sure that it's still not bleeding. If it was still bleeding, I may apply some another bandage and another bandage and some more gauze or what have you on the wound. As it is, I've noticed that this is more than likely arterial. It's bright red blood. And it is bright red blood, and it's also squirting, so it's a pulsating sort of bleeding. So what I'm going to do now is apply some pressure to a point proximal to the bleed, not over the joint, not over the elbow itself, but proximal to the bleed. So I'm going to use, because it's his elbow, I'm going to utilise his his humerus as a pressure point and press the artery against his long bone in his humerus, which will help stop the bleeding. I do that and I notice that the bleeding is slowing down and stopping. So at this point I'm going to apply a tourniquet. So I apply an arterial tourniquet. At the moment in New South Wales it would be a mechanical advantage tourniquet or a soft T tourniquet. I'd apply that tourniquet. After applying the tourniquet, I would note on the patient's forehead and or on the tourniquet the time of application and the patient's name. I would also check again for distal perfusion to distal perfusion and neuromuscular effects of that injury. I would then rapidly transport the patient. I'd also make sure that I don't remove that tourniquet until we're in the ED. Someone else can do that. That's probably more of a doctor or a triage nurse issue. So once the tourniquet is on, leave it alone. Going to call this a rapid transport and pass a code 3. Let them know let the receiving hospital know what we're coming into. At this stage, I'll probably be heading towards a trauma centre if there's one nearby. I'd also auscultate. I would auscultate. And also the other thing too is I would make sure that I'd elevate his legs, Trendelberg his legs on the stretcher and raise them up. So try and keep the blood pressure, try and keep the blood inside, down this way. Try and improve his blood pressure. Put a line in And because it's a traumatic injury, just make sure he maintains a radial pulse. If he wasn't maintaining a radial pulse, then we would add some fluids until we got a radial pulse. So thank you very much, everybody.